Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the HCST Athletics Show. I'm Caden Drummiller. By my side is Manny Pereira, and a lot has happened since our last episode, including a new game of the week. That's what we're here to announce first. And can I get a little drum roll
for the game of the week?
For our game. So tomorrow, the HCST Athletics Show will be on the road all the way to Bayonne to showcase boys varsity between Bayonne and Union City. So that is where we will be headed. That is a 6 o'clock game, and you will see a couple interviews in just a moment after we're done with all of our regular coverage from both sides of that matchup. So to start off, as we started off our first episode, we talked a lot about St. Peter's Prep and Hudson Catholic. They have been the two faces of the county for, however long, and they obviously have continued that trend this year. So let's start with Prep. The last time we were here, they had only played one game. They played before a lot of the county even started to play, and things weren't looking too great. Not horrible, but a loss to Colonia to start the season. And since then, what a bounce back. After including a Richie Rosa injury in that game, they have been 8-1 since we recorded that episode, and their only loss was a 2-point game to Miami Senior, one that they were not at all expected to win and probably kept it closer than what a lot of people think. And that includes some really big wins too. St. Raymond's, Roman Catholic, and Bergen Catholic, all nationally ranked teams. Actually, excuse me, not sure about St. Raymond's, but all.
They were at the time. They were
at the time for sure. But really good teams. Bergen Catholic, the #1 team in New Jersey at the time of that win. So a really big win for them. That shot St. Peter's up into the national rankings, where they now sit at 70th and 3rd in NJ.com. So what about them so far has stuck out to you?
Yeah, they've been on a crazy run. And I think the main thing that stuck out to both of us when we called that game against St. Raymond's was the defense. And their defense has just been exceptional. They've only allowed 60 points or more once all season. And the thing that shocked me the most was the two games, one against Bergen Catholic and the other one against Jill St. Bernard's. To hold a Bergen Catholic team to only 51 points and then Jill St. Bernard's to 38 is just very impressive, and it is a testament to what Coach Mirabel has instilled in his squad. I heard from somebody from Prep that they're working more on defense in practice than they are on shooting and offense. So tough practices over there at the barn, and it's showing off on the floor.
Yeah, and just to add, Bergen Catholic just absolutely destroyed Bosco, just to give a sense of how good they are as a team, and St. Peter's just destroyed them. Now, on to Hudson Catholic, who is doing extremely well up to this point. They hadn't played a game by the time that we filmed our first episode, and they have gone off. 9-1 now on the season, and their only loss is a common opponent in Miami Senior. And that's the only common opponent that we've seen so far between these two teams that hasn't been a conference game, and Hudson Catholic lost by 12. Just a reminder, Prep lost by 2, so with our limited comparison, that's what we've got, a 10-point difference in those games. They also find themselves in the national rankings, 16 places behind Prep. They're at 86th now, but they have been absolutely running through the conference. Everybody in their way they have just destroyed. An average margin of victory of 38.3 points in conference games. But they've got a tough schedule coming up. Bergen and Bosco both up in the next week.
Yep, and a big part of Hudson's success have been the two seniors who we expected that were going to play a big role on that team. Keith McKnight and Omari Moore each have more than 140 points, 148 for McKnight, 152 for Omari Moore. And then the bigs have done a good job for them, the bigs that we talked about in that preseason episode that were going to be huge after losing Rampersant. Hudson doing a great job also on the defensive end, and they're able to score points against every team in this county. They held Bayonne, who's a good team, to 23 points, which is super duper impressive. They're definitely the two top dogs in the county, Hudson and Prep, once again, no doubt about it.
Yep, they've been doing great so far. Just one more thing to mention, Dickinson, undefeated so far. They're one of the few teams left in New Jersey that can hold that title. They've played 3 HCIAL games, obviously winning all of them, North Bergen, Snyder, and Bayonne, so quite a start for them.
Yeah, Dickinson doing a great job. We had them at 3, right, in our power rankings.
I believe we did.
They just beat Bayonne 56-52, and they had 4 players who scored over 10 points. And then Jeremy Polanco, who scored, or no, excuse me, not Jeremy Polanco, Tomas Montero, who scored 7 points. I had 10 rebounds as well to go along with his 7 points. doing a great job. Very balanced team. They're very deep. To get that win at home was huge for them. Maybe we expected a little bit more when it comes to margin of victory, but still, Bayonne's a very tough team to play, and they're handling business right now, Dickinson.
Yeah, I would agree. Maybe a little bit more than a 4-point victory was what I would have had on my score sheet, but still, a win's a win. They are the only team left in the county without a loss. And now just to move through, Hoboken stands at 2-2. Lemire Boxley, who recently hit 1,000 points, and Nick Petrozelli, the seniors, have been dominating over there. They've been a big part of that team's success. A loss to Snyder, though, but they did beat Memorial by 20. So some good wins, some not so great losses. Bayonne, 2-2, as we said, will be there tomorrow when they play Union City, 1-1. So both 500 teams. That should shake up the standings a little bit.
Yeah, 500 in the HCIL. So this is a big game when it comes to the standings. This has to do a lot with the county seating. It is strict basically off the HCIAL standings. It doesn't have to do with your out-of-conference play and your overall record. So big game coming up tomorrow. And then to touch a little bit on Hoboken, they've scored over 70 points 4 times this year. They had a bad loss against Hudson. They bounced back by absolutely crushing North Bergen. Then they have a really off shooting night, only 43 points against Snyder, and then they crush Memorial, beat them by 20, which is definitely more than we expected. When you have those guards that shoot a lot of threes and are able to get hot at any moment, then you could have those nights where they score 70-plus points, but if the shots are not falling, then you might have a few clunkers like they did against Snyder.
Yep, so that's it for our general coverage. As we promised, we have 2 interviews coming up. We have a Union City player and a Bayonne player. You'll have to stick around to see who we've got up on the broadcast. Let's cut to that right now. Welcome, everybody. The scene is a little different. I'm joined with Manny in our broadcasting room, and that is because we have our first interviewee of the HCST Athletic Show. Alan Gomez is here joining us today. Alan, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, so we got a couple questions for you. You play Bayonne tomorrow, so here I'll go first. You had a really good freshman year, 239 points, 59 rebounds. What do you feel the expectations are like for you going into this season?
It's definitely more than it was my freshman year. I felt like going to freshman year, not everybody knew my name. I wasn't one of the highly touted, kids in my class, but I think now showing everybody in the county and in the state what I can do, I think my expectations are definitely higher.
Yeah, and speaking of that freshman year, it's like your second game of the year, your first game against a rival, Memorial. Mm-hmm. So going in as the Union City point guard in West New York, that was a pretty solid stage. And that was when I was impressed with you. Ironically, even though it wasn't a great game for you on paper, you took maybe 11, 12 shots, maybe 1 or 2 of them fell. But the reason why I was impressed is because you stayed true to yourself and you stayed confident throughout the entire game. You were getting to your spots, taking open looks. The shots just weren't falling. Where did you learn to be that confident throughout a game, even when you're struggling as such a young player?
I think that has to go with all the work I put in and the people I have around me. They always help me stay confident, really. So I think that's a big part on why I'm able to keep shooting, and even when I'm even having a bad game.
All right. So Union City, Bayonne, as you guys know, as Alan knows, that's our game of the week. We'll be there Thursday, 6 p.m. at Bayonne. And since you've joined the squad, Union City is 1-1 against Bayonne as a team. Where do you think the team's confidence is at headed into this game?
I think our confidence is good. Even though we had a tough loss yesterday, I still think that fueled our fire a little bit. I think we're gonna go into Bayonne with high energy, high defense. Just high intensity.
Nah, for sure. And you guys have been off to a pretty solid start, 4-3, much better start than last year, even after losing an important player, AG, Anthony Gonzalez. There's still a lot of belief in the building from what I've heard and when we've spoken personally. Why should the county and everyone here watching be on alert for the Union City Eagles?
They should be on alert because we know during the summer how much time we put in and the work we put in together and the bond we've created to really make this team special and different than it was last year. Because I know from how our season ended to us going 0-7 last year, I don't ever want to feel that again. So I think for me personally, that fueled me to want to just keep pushing 100%. and just give it my all. And I feel like we've all became brothers and all have wanted the same idea and the same goal at the end to win a championship.
All
Awesome.
right, Alan, you got any final thoughts for everybody watching?
Just keep an eye on us, man. Just keep an eye on us.
For sure, for sure.
All right, Alan Gomez, everybody. You'll see him tomorrow, Thursday night, against Bayonne. A nice matchup, HCIAL conference game. We'll be streaming that live from this YouTube channel. You can tune in. We'll be live a couple minutes before game time. Be sure to watch.
Thanks, Alan.
No problem.
We're back in the studio once again. I'm Caden Drummiller, Manny Pereira, and we are joined by Bayonne Junior Noah Shaw. So Noah is another player that will be playing tomorrow night in our Union City versus Bayonne Game of the Week matchup. Noah, how's it going?
Everything's good, thank you.
All right, so we got a couple questions. First, you and Union City are both coming off pretty tough losses, so a bounce back game for both teams. How do you guys plan on bouncing back?
Well, it takes a team effort to do it. It'll be a pretty long practice today, but I'm very confident that we'll bounce back from our loss last night.
Awesome. On your Instagram bio, it says two-way player, and that you are, averaging almost 3 steals a game this year. How much pride do you take in your defensive effort, and has it always been something that's been really important for you as a player?
I take a lot of pride in my defense because defense creates offense. I can't do it all on the offensive side, so I have to add something in my defensive game.
Speaking of offense, you are doing quite a bit there with 15.7 points per game to start the season, and a lot of that comes from your jump shot, which I'm sure, as you know, and as a lot of the county knows, is pretty unconventional. So we were wondering, what's the story with that, and coaches trying to intervene, stuff like that.
Um, there really isn't a story behind it. I was always a shooter growing up.
Okay, what about coaches? Have they ever tried to?
Yeah, I know. He's talking about like you have very unique form and it works. So I don't like it when people hate on like unique jump shots. But have you ever had a coach try to mess with it a little bit?
A lot of coaches messed with it. By the time I reached 8th grade, my jump shot was different, and one coach did end up changing my jump shot, which it worked out pretty well.
Awesome. And look, Mike Cunningham, Deshaun Isler, they combined for 400 rebounds last year. How have you guys been able to try and make up for those rebounds and that effort on the glass, adjusting to now a pretty new team in a transitional year?
We've been doing a lot of boxing out drills in practice since we're a pretty short team. We're trying to still fixing up some things since our two valuable big men aren't there, but eventually we'll get all of that worked out.
All right, Noah, any more final thoughts before tomorrow's game?
Come to the game tomorrow. Fill the Hive. We do need support, and it should be a good game tomorrow. Very good game. Very competitive.
Indeed.
All right, and if you can't make it to the Hive, we'll be streaming it live on the HCST Athletics YouTube channel right here. Noah Shaw, everybody, thank you so much.
Thanks, Noah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that is it for our interviews. Thank you so much to Alan Gomez and Noah Shaw of their respective high schools. And you will see them tomorrow night, 6 p.m. We've said it enough times. Right here. We'll be live a couple minutes before tip-off. That's going to do it for us on the HCST Athletics Show today. I'm Caden Drummiller. By my side, Manny Pereira. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.
Don't miss it.